Yeah, here we are. Only I need to change that picture. Yay, welcome to my painting workshop on anger. Hi, welcome everybody. So, in the past, I've had some trouble with the chat, and I still can't figure out exactly how it works, but if you have a question, go to the sidebar and that little blue blob that says Q&A. If you have a question, ask me a question through that Q&A, and I want to see if I can get it through that. So welcome to the workshop. This is my second workshop, and I think they're just going to get better from here. My name is Kezia Carter from KeziaCarterStudio.com. I am a fine artist, and I specialize in teaching people how to create abstract art to release their emotions, release their feelings, to basically clear all the blocks and the crap from your life, and to make room for the good things that you want to put into your life. So today I'm showing you a art journaling technique. It's just a painting technique, but I'm using my art journal in releasing some anger, and is some simple practical process anybody can do to release your anger. The kid just dropped back. So I'm totally gonna go Bob Ross on you, and I'm gonna say, if you need to just watch this all the way through, do that. Watch it first. I have provided a PDF download of all the things I'm going to cover, and a little note-taking section. So go ahead and download that. I left the link below this video and the event if you're on Google. Or if you're watching on my website, it's on the page on my website, KeziaCarterStudio.com/workshops. No, / online events / workshop. Anyway, I left the link below this, so all you have to do is click. But it's a PDF download that covers everything I'm going to cover, and it's really easy. And just watch me paint if you want to watch me paint, but come back later and watch it again and paint with me the second time through. Totally good. We're all about, this is all about getting in touch with your feelings, and I understand that can be sensitive for some people. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to show you my my materials that I have here. So I have my art journaling book. This is a page that I'm going to show you in a minute. This is my mixed media Canson brand art journaling book. It is 11 by 14 inch size. You can get it at Michael's. You can get it probably Hobby Lobby or any other craft store. Just a second. This is weird. Weird. Oops. Don't know what that did. Oh, okay. I see. So here we go. Q&A. Again, if you have any questions, go to the little Q&A, the blue Q&A box, and ask me a question, and I'm going to see if that works, because I don't know how to get the chat to work. So we have our sketchbook. You can also easily use a canvas or any other thing that would absorb water-based paints and mediums. This is the page that we're gonna tear up. I made beforehand. I made a couple of days ago, and I used graphite. This is a graphite stick. It is really awesome. I normally do not like graphite, drawing with graphite, because to me it's like an amateur material. That sounds kind of a bad word, but drawing with like graphite pencils, it's just very cheap to me. But a graphite stick where you can just kind of get in there, that's what I use to write some words on the page. So graphite stick. You can easily use charcoal. that works too. I love charcoal better. Since we're dealing with anger, I base my my color philosophy right now is based off of, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a psychologist in the early 1900s. He developed a color wheel, which I'm going to link below. It's going to be all on my website if you want to see what it looks like. I should have put it on the PDF. Oh man. That was okay. So it's basically a color wheel, and he chose the seven main emotions of humans and animals, and a color that correlates with each emotion. And obviously, red is an obvious, especially in, I think this is a worldwide thing. Red is symbolizes anger and passion, like anger, hate, hatred, rage, and then passion, love, infatuation, etc. So, and I usually don't like reds, but I'm going to use reds for this because it's a very powerful color. So I got 3 different shades of red. I have and these are all acrylics, brilliant red, scarlet red, and then my golden brand, Naphthol, red light. And this is like it's more like a primary red. And then I have a white. And then I'm also going to put in some yellow ochre because I like a little more dimension than just a bunch of reds. And then I have my handy dandy trusty glitter glue. Trusty? Handy dandy trusted glitter glue. 88 cents for this bottle. And I'm only like halfway through the bottle. It's really I love this glitter glue. It's just so fun. And then I have an empty container, a crappy brush. You can use any kind of brush. You can use your hands. I brought my colored pencils just in case, but I'll put them to the side because I don't know if I'll need them. And then Elmer's glue. This is, of all of the glues that I've tried painting with and mixing with paints, this is the best water-based glue that it's like multi-purpose, that I think it's better than tacky glue. It's cheaper than tacky glue. There are also ways of making your own glue, but that was like $1.50. So here we go. So this is my process. So we have, actually, you know what? I discovered the screen share. So I'm going to screen share with you. Screen share this, maybe, if it'll let me. Maybe not. Never mind. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm going to screen share my PDF. It's going to be a little bit on the ghetto side, but here we go. Here we go. Painting workshop, share. You are screen sharing, yes. So this is the PDF that you can totally download on my website. It is specifically for this workshop, painting workshop on anger. I'm going to be, I showed you the colors of anger, which is red, and it goes from tints and shades of red, which a tint is you add red to a hue or color, and a shade is when you add black to a hue or a color. Angry layers. Now I'm going to describe angry layers. This has to do with the piece of painted journal page that I showed you earlier that I did previous, that we're going to tear that up. This goes into angry textures. We're going to, I'm going to tear this piece up to shreds, which writing down anger words, and I'll tell you the anger words that I wrote, is part of the making of the texture page. And then the other half is tearing it to shreds. And it's like a symbolic meaning of, I'm going to write down all of the words I can think of that I'm feeling, and then I'm going to tear it to shreds because I hate it. And then wet and dry mediums, I told you I'm using graphite stick acrylic paints, and then I'm going to mix in a little glue and some glitter glue. So this is the overall of what I'll be doing, and then for your convenience, for you to watch this video through again as you make your own. And then I left a little notes page, just a blank page for you to have your notes. And I was super excited how cute this came out. So and we're back. Yay! I hope that screen share worked because I'm super excited. Ooh, I see there's a viewer. So we're going to try out, if you want to ask me a question, go to the sidebar and the little blue comment thingy that says Q&A. If you want to ask me a question through there. I'm still not sure exactly how this works. I can't get the chat to work. I've searched and searched and searched. If you know how to get the chat to work on Google Hangouts, please tell me. Leave a comment or something. So we're going to start painting. So this is my texture sheet that I created a few days ago. And these are my words. These are my angry words. Frustration, I got in glitter glue. It's kind of like an irony of frustration. You think of like dark and maybe cloudy, and I got that in shiny glitter glue to make it stand out. But I got, obviously this says mad, steel, liar, sad, rage, anger. I think that says annoyance. And this is actually, if you were on my last, my first painting workshop last week, this is the page that I did last week. So I just painted over it. So totally, like, I am a huge fan of painting over old work to make into new work. So here we go. We're going to just rip it. And if you're just joining me, feel free to, oh man. I mean, the joy of ripping, it just feels good, especially like you're ripping, it's like you're ripping like junk mail or something. Like, no, get the, I don't want you anymore, you know? Okay, so if you're just joining me, feel free to, I'm showing you, this is a painting workshop of how to, and this doesn't have to be neat either. Just get it out there. Showing you how to paint emotions, and meaning that to get adverse feelings out of you, to make room for the good things that you want in your life. So this can also go with if you need to go through some forgiveness, you know, we're leaving what's done in the past, and we're getting out our feelings, and so that we can move on and create better abundance for the future. So I'm just tearing this apart. Another great way to like tearing, similar to tearing, was crumpling. And, you know, maybe you can just kind of crumple into balls, you know, just, and maybe throw them, tear it, crumple it, throw it across the room, or, you know, maybe you can try to get like a woohoo hole in one. Wrong game, but yeah, I think you know what I mean. Hole in one. So you can do lots of tiny pieces, you know. I'm amazed that releasing. I'm not the best at relaying my words and what I'm thinking, but it's very satisfying to rip something up. It's even more satisfying to rip something up that you spent a lot of time on, but that frustrated you, or that maybe didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to. That's why I love creating anger art. And then you just rip it up, and then you make it into something else that's like beautiful. And so that's what we're doing today. We're turning our anger into something beautiful, because we want to attract positive things into our life while releasing the negative things in our life. So here we go. I think I'll do that. This is also why I'm a big advocate of abstract art. I know a lot of people who, they might be able to appreciate abstract art, but they really don't understand what it's for. And I'm here to tell you what abstract art is great for explaining or communicating an emotion, communicating your feelings, communicating a point of view on a subject, whether it's like, I know a lot of artists express their emotion into their abstract paintings for like political purposes or whatever they have an opinion on. But I think it's like abstract art is really great for communicating feelings, because feelings don't have, feelings are this abstract idea. Feelings don't have concrete physical, they don't take it on a physical form, if that makes sense. You can, anybody can paint a physical item. Like anybody can, I don't really know where I was going with that, but anybody can paint a table. Anybody can paint a table or a chair. Okay, so I'm gonna mix a little glue with some of this red acrylic paint. And you don't need, I'm not gonna use a whole lot of paint. That's like maybe a dime or a nickel worth of paint. Anybody can paint a table or a chair, and anybody can make a vision board of a table or a chair that you want. But how do you communicate the feeling behind behind what it's going to feel like to have that table and chair that you want? You know what I mean? So abstract art is great at capturing feelings, because it's so emotion based, and there's no subject. It's the only word I can think of is arbitrary. I don't know if that's, I don't think that's the right word, but it's very emotional based, and it's great for expressing feelings. That's all I gotta say. I'll stop rambling on that. So glue, see how much glue is in there? White on white is a little hard to see. It's maybe like a couple, like 2 tablespoons, 1.5 tablespoons. And I'm just gonna add just a little bit of water, just enough to make it into a somewhat of a paste. And you don't have to color the glue, especially if you plan on painting over. So we have our blank canvas. We have our torn up words and our torn up pages that we're gonna layer. This is the layering phase, and we're gonna layer it together. If you plan on painting over the layering phase after you've glued everything down, you don't have to add paint to this step, or you can still add paint. But if you paint over, you're not gonna see the color. All right. And I am doing this as I go. I prepared a little bit. I mean, I made this. Like, it took me a couple of minutes to paint this, and I dried it. But I'm painting along with you, you know. All right, see, look at that color. Look at that. Look at how angry that red is. All right, here we go. So the key to gluing down stuff, especially paper to paper, oh jeez. I don't know who that is. The phones in this house. All of them have a different ring. We're gonna coat the back and you coat the back of each piece. This is a big piece, so I'm trying to get it be as generous on the glue as I can because this is such a big piece, a big slice of the paper. Okay, just kind of mush it on. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Think about composition too. Composition can be powerful. Yeah. This piece is going to have to be pressed after I'm done. Okay. My paper towel is, here's paper towel. Here we go. So again, if you're just joining me, I'm painting emotions with you. We are learning how to release, you know, okay, so to paint the smaller pieces, just get paint on the thing. And then I'm just gonna start with the small pieces. And so I do on the bottom, I put glue on the bottom and then over top to seal it on and then layer it. So I'm painting, we're painting emotions. I guess this is gonna be recorded to YouTube so I don't have to keep repeating myself. If you wanna know what I'm doing, just watch the thing over again. Now I would normally be doing this horizontally. I don't do this, I normally don't do this vertically, but for the video purposes, I'm doing this vertically. Also with composition, think about clustering. I always like to start with clustering things together. Clustering and layering. I'm going to save my bigger pieces for a little later. And always have something to cover. Something to catch the drips of paint. Look at that. Look at this. Happy little anger clouds. Happy little anger clouds. The paper I tore up was really kind of big. So I have a lot of pieces. All right. Now I notice that a lot of people get hung up on the fact that they can't draw, they can't paint, they can't be artistic, or they aren't, or they even apologize for not being good. When, you know, you talk about like academic world of art, there's like a good and a bad, even though it's all subjective anyway. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Who's to know what's beautiful and what's not? It's beautiful if it's beautiful to you. You can draw if you can draw good enough for you. You know what I mean? But what spurred on that thought? Trying to remember what spurred on the thought. Okay. So like not judging. I think a very important thing to do is, especially if you're just starting out and have never really done art projects before, the point of doing it as more of a therapy like we are now is to not bring any judgment in and to let whatever comes out come out. You don't have to listen to me. You know, you don't have to do exactly what I do. I've developed a method that works for me, but I just want to share this idea, this very important idea that you are your own artist. Creativity is in everybody. We're all born with this innate sense of creativity, which I think came from the aliens. But there's this immense sense of self-judgment that people, and it really, in my research, this self-judgment comes in adulthood, when we're teenagers. A lot of teenagers, we lose this sense of what is that called? Like, you lose abilities, not abilities. You lose self-confidence in yourself and your abilities, and you start to think that you're a failure, a fraud. Get over that, because art and drawing is whatever you want it to be, and it's as easy as you want it to be. Okay, so I just have a few things. This is layering okay, but it's still a little flat, and I think it might, as it dries, it might look a little better. But we're gonna branch out a little. And I'm normally a little chaotic with this, but because of the position that I'm in, with it being upright, I'm being a little bit more careful. Okay, I think I'm gonna, there we go. There's lots of little pieces here. I just love doing this type of art because it's so relaxing. You can do it by yourself. You can do it while you're listening to a podcast, to a TV show that's interesting. You can, it's very, it's just so relaxing. And one thing that I have noticed of, like, what I want to step up in my game of creating artwork is, and especially my abstract work, I always like having a sense of purpose behind it, which is why I love developing these painting workshops and basing them around feelings, of getting out your feelings. And really, it can be a catalyst for forgiving people in your past, forgiving yourself. But what was I saying? I get on all these tangents and then I forget what I was saying, and then I don't complete my thought, and then I go on to the next thought, and I just confuse everybody. Oh, so my purpose of creating my artwork, that's a piece of crumpled. That's the ones that I crumpled. Yeah, so I think it's really important to have a purpose behind any piece of work that you do, even though you don't have to have a purpose behind everything. But I think having a general purpose kind of completes the cycle, and it gives you a takeaway of, okay, I made this. What can I take away from this? What can I improve in my life? What have I, and it is a form, it's totally a form of therapy, because you can learn stuff from yourself. Things come out from your unconscious that communicate with you when you do artwork. And it's definitely difficult to interpret those things, but the interpretation is there for you to interpret. That makes sense. All right, I'm coming down to that's a little bit bigger piece. The only thing with working with layers is that it's hard to do in a workshop. It's hard to do live, because like if I was doing this by myself, I would let this dry first, and then I would put more paint over it, and I would build. But I mean, that's just the thing with working with doing layers. All right. I'm going to put my big piece. La da da. Now, because I tore this up in a weird way, I tore up a lot of the words. So this is technically upside down, this piece. No one's going to know the difference. Maybe I don't want to be mad anymore. So I'm going to turn it upside down and say no. You want to make sure that it stays, though. Now, because I'm doing this on paper, even though it is mixed media paper, it's still gonna bow. It's still gonna warp. I'm going to, but that's okay, because even things that warp, you can you just press it flat when it dries. Press it flat under like some heavy books or something. So while this top part is drying, I'm just gonna add some paints. And I love doing a gradient. It's not called ombre. It's called a gradient. I don't know where that came from, if that word really existed in fashion. You know, like the ombre hair. It's a gradient. It's like they're trying to be artistic without being artistic. Like, oh, we're artistic, but we're artistic in our own way. We don't want to be associated with art people because we're fashion people. I don't know. I guess the word ombre existed before, but it's just so trendy. Some trendy things I'm just not, some trendy things I just want to like not be a part of just because they're trendy, you know? So this frustration word is having a hard time stay because I had the paper and then there's layers and layers of newspaper on it, so it's just a really thick piece. But that's okay, because when I'm done with this, I'm gonna let it dry, and then I'm gonna press it down. If you want to press it down while the paint is wet, all you have to do is get a piece of plastic wrap or a piece of plastic, like a plastic bag. Put the plastic bag over the wet paint and then put something heavy on top of it. It takes a lot longer to dry that way, but it does save some paint. It saves from putting more layers of paint and glue. I did that once to one of my bigger pieces of my bigger canvas pieces. Actually, in my collection right now, my painting collection, the one that I made, I glued a real piece of tree bark onto the canvas, and that's how I had to glue the tree bark on initially. I went through several cycles of putting a big piece of plastic over the bark with the glue on it. This is turning out pretty good. Now, when this is dry, you go over it more with dry medium. Like, I'd probably go back and write more squigglies around it with my graphite stick. And maybe on some of the graphite words that I write over it, I trace over that with glitter glue. Great texture piece. Maybe you can take one of your little crumpled pieces that you did, and we're gonna, while the paint's still wet, just kind of scrub. You know, that makes kind of a nice angry effect. Scrub it. Scrub away some of the paint. Yeah, damn. I really want to swear right now. Swearing is perfect. Is a perfect way to while you're painting, you just fucking shit. It's really great. Really good release. I also wanted to share with you some angry motions. So on top of anger, when you think of anger, anger is a movement, and it's a very heavy, chaotic movement. It's not you know, like a straight line. It's not gonna, obviously it's the opposite of calm, and it's very chaotic, and it's movement. So create movement. To create movement in a composition, obviously having something like little scratchies is really good. But when you're putting on, like when we tear these pieces, creating movement means you're having, things are at an angle. Things are I don't have anything on here that's straight side to side or straight up and down. That is more of a calming composition. An angry composition has movement. Movement is turned, like it's going off of the page. I'm going to use the rest of this paint real quick. Let me see if I covered everything, because my mind goes crazy. My mind goes crazy. So yes, while I use the rest of this paint, I'd like to close with a little takeaway. And releasing anger, I think, is very important. And I have realized that I have been releasing anger through my artwork, releasing mainly anger or depression or sad things in my art for years. And the important part of that is learning from it. And I haven't really been learning from it because I've been so lost and so hung up in my own little world. Not that that's bad, but there is great power behind, you know, having a support system or having someone to help you interpret, you know, what's going on inside of you, whether that's a friend, whether that's a therapist, whether that's someone that you work with, I don't know, someone that you trust. But having some sort of interpretation of this to okay, I created this. Now you step back and you say, where can I go from here? What does this mean? And that's kind of what I'm here for. I want to help you realize some of the unconscious decisions that you create through your artwork, through color, through composition, things that you may not be conscious of. And that's like really the unconscious mind telling you and communicating with you of things that it's trying to tell you and things that you can improve on. So the point is to release your anger, preferably on a piece of artwork rather than on another person, or, you know, punching through a wall. But release it so that you can make room for all of the good things that you want to have in your life, all the good things you want to attract in your life. And if that means that you need to let go of things that have happened to you in the past, you need to maybe forgive, and that's up to you, that's up to your person, because it just differs. But this is amazing. It looks like a chaotic mess, and yours may look like a 2-year-old did it, and that is fantastic. I think that's exactly what it should look like. If it looked like a 2-year-old did it, you did your job right. So you are awesome. Thank you for joining me for my live painting workshop on anger. Don't forget to go over to KeziaCarterStudio.com. It's the 2nd of August, and I've got my new and improved affirmation portraits. That's what I work one-on-one with clients. And check that out under Work With Me. Also, sign up on my list. I have a free PDF download now. This is my first free PDF download on it's called The Ultimate Guide to Painting Your Emotions, which is basically, it's my basic template for how to create something like this. And it's free when you sign up on my newsletter. You'll also get updates of any future live workshops like this and any other things that I do, and my blog posts. So visit me on there, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.